great. Thank you everyone for being here. This is amazing. I'm so honored and humbled. Welcome. This is Councilmember Cheryl Davila, Berkeley City 2, Berkeley City Council, District 2. And
You freeze? Are y'all hearing anything?
No, I can't hear her.
Well, I'll take over. This is Armando Davila. I'm the son of Cheryl Davila, and you're in our campaign kickoff. Cheryl just completed her first term, and after being reelected in 2016, she ran against Daryl Moore and beat him on affordable housing, anti-police militarization, mental health for those who need it, platform, as well as beautification without gentrification. And it's been a long and arduous 4 years. She's been one of the most principled progressive voices on the council, making sure that homeless people get services, making sure all the numbers are correct in the budget and everything is up to detail, and fighting for climate change, fighting for, honoring Indigenous rights and solidarity with the Shell Mound, showing up in solidarity for Palestine, and, fighting against the local neoliberal strain of the Bay Area. And so we're super happy to have you here. She's been a resident for 39 years in the city of Berkeley, and she raised me in District 2 in a small 2-bedroom apartment. So, we're working class people, we're a working class agenda, and we're super happy to have you here. It looks like she's having some technical difficulties, so you'll have to just be patient with us as she gets back online. I want to give a shout out to the speakers we have today. We have Ben Bartlett, Councilmember District 3. We have Dannny Glover, who we all know, actor, activist, People's Movement organizer. We have Carol Denney, who I believe, let me get this right, is a former mayor. Is that right, Carol? I'm messing you up right now. We have Yvette Flunder, who's a singer and a pastor here in Oakland. We have Karina Gould, who's a spokesperson for the Confederated Villages of Palizjana Ohlone. We have Stacy Hill, who's a resident of South Berkeley. Jane Kim will be speaking, who's a former advisor, the San Francisco supervisor, as well as the national director for Bernie Sanders. We'll have Jessica Prado, who's a multimedia journalist, an advocate for poor people, immigrants, homelessness, climate change, indigenous communities. We'll have someone from Paul Corrett's office, either Paul Corretz himself or Andy Schrader, who's on the Los Angeles City Council, who's been working with us on climate emergency initiatives here in California. We'll have Hatem Bazian, the co-founder and professor of Islamic law and theology at Zaytuna College. And we'll have Eduardo Martinez, who's an activist and Richmond City Council member. We'll have Lisa, formerly unhoused, poverty scholar, blessing us some poetry. And we'll have Andrea Prichett, who's the founder of Berkeley Cop Watch, who we adore. We'll have Javanka Beckles, former Richmond City Council member. We also have some family members, my grandfather Porter Kirkwood, who you can see here, my uncle Christopher Kirkwood will play some music, and my aunt Lynette Kirkwood will also play some music. That's our lineup for today, and I'm so happy that you're all here, and so happy for everyone who's flying these banners to Re-Elect Cheryl Davila. And
hi there, I'm back. I'm under Spencetta now because I had to leave my laptop. It wasn't working, unfortunately. So let me rename myself in a minute. But thank you all for being here. I apologize for that. My internet just went out in the living room. That's crazy. So
just so you know, I just gave you an intro and I introduced all the speakers.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Armando.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you Zoom and you have to rely on electronic equipment to be working, right? So here we are in the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, and hope all is well as expected in these tumultuous times. of 45 and COVID. You know, it's just like really an incredible time right now. Thank you to the Re-Elect Councilmember Cheryl Davila campaign committee, and who have been amazing through this effort. And thank you to my assistant Roscoe, and to my my daughter Svencetta, and to my assistant, my other assistant, Iman Sylvain. And thank you to my family. Like I said, my daughter Svencetta, who I'm thankful that she's here, because she got stuck here because of COVID, and that's been a blessing. And thank you to my son Armando, who's been really tremendous in this last 3.5 years, with my campaign Kickoff last year, and through my campaign last time, I mean in 2016, as well as this time, and throughout my whole term. He's been simply incredible. And thank you to my husband, Robert, who has been really patient and has tolerated all the challenges that have come up as being an elected official's spouse, right? And so thank you to all that are here today to speak and perform and lead us in prayer this afternoon. And thank you to District 2 for electing me in 2016 and showing me their support in so many numerous ways. I want to start by also thanking my colleagues on the council. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but I'm so grateful for them and the staff of the city, as well as the city manager. They've been great throughout this term. My first term has been filled with many unfortunate events. 45 happened the same night I got elected. So that was very interesting. It was a great moment for me, but it was like incredible to see all the sad faces that night as we celebrated in kind of a mixed bag, right? That was for all of us. So this first term has been filled with white supremacy, fascists, fires, smoke, no affordable housing, not enough care about our curbside communities, and then COVID came along. You know, so I've been met with so many challenges, but you know, I'm honored and humbled to be an elected official during these times, to give a voice to the voiceless. Our country and the world are dealing with this pandemic. Black people are being murdered by officers, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Nina Pop, and countless others. These evil murders done by white supremacists are forcing hundreds and thousands of people out into the street during this pandemic, righteously. You know, they're just tired and fed up and cannot take it anymore. And that's just like amazing. They're filled with so much anger and rage that they're putting their lives on the line. They're forcing Black, brown, Indigenous, and all people of color out there, and their white allies, putting themselves in harm's way during this pandemic. The National Guard military weapons are being used on Black Lives Matter protests only. As we know, people who protest wearing masks aren't being treated with the same evil aggression if their skin color is white. We know that. I'm just shaking my head all the time. At the top of the shelter, on top of all of that, we're in a shelter in place, right? Wearing masks, washing our hands, physically distancing. COVID has put so much uncertainty on us. It's raised our unemployment rates. It's devastated small businesses. Racism is on the rise, more visible, and please know I am praying for a better tomorrow. And that's why I'm just so happy and honored to be here today. In 2016, we launched at our kickoff at Lumen Labs, which was like an amazing event. We had food from Priya, an Indian restaurant in District 2. We were eating all kinds of homemade food. I made my baked fried chicken. You know, we had cake, we had wine, we had water. We had so much fun. It was just like, and here we are, sheltering in place, having to do a virtual event now. So we're in some different times, but we have to make the best with what we got right now. And so I am so honored to be here, gathered with all of you virtually. And so welcome to the city of Berkeley, Ohlone territory. Welcome to the Re-Elect Cheryl Davila for Berkeley City Council 2020. All right, can I get a hand raise? Yeah. All right. So first, I would like to welcome, I have to do one pitch. I won't do many pitches, but I'm gonna do the first one. So our campaign is participating in the City of Berkeley's campaign financing program. So all the contributions at the maximum can be $50. You can pay less, but if you're a Berkeley City, a City of Berkeley resident, the City of Berkeley will match you 6-to-1. So if you contribute that $50, I'll get $300 extra, right? You have to complete the required contribution form, sign it and email it to Cheryl at cheryldavila.vote after you complete your contribution, or you can mail it to our P.O. Box, which is Re-Elect Cheryl Davila for 2020, P.O. Box 2183, Berkeley, California 94702. So think about that. You can go right now to www.cheryldavila.vote and make that contribution, volunteer, endorse, read my issues. But right now, I want to welcome, and I'm so honored and humbled to have Karina Gould, the spokesperson for the Confederated Villages of Lejeune, Ohlone. You may have noticed the welcome to Berkeley signs alone, the welcome signs with welcome to the city of Berkeley, Ohlone territory on our borders or city limits throughout the, wherever they may be. And thank you so much, Karina, for being here. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Councilwoman Cheryl, I'm so honored to be here and to be a part of this wonderful kickoff for your re-election. And I just want to say that I am thankful on behalf of our tribe for you championing getting those signs put in at the beginning entrances of all of Berkeley, acknowledging that Ohlone territory is right here, part of the Huichin territory of our nation, and that you have been an someone that we can count on to show up to events to protect our sacred sites that are right here in the city of Berkeley and farther out of your district as well. And so it's an honor to be a part of this. And I believe you maybe wanted me to offer a prayer to kick us off. And so I would like to do that. And one of the things that we do is, so many people live in Berkeley right now. And if you live outside of Berkeley in any of the cities of Oakland, Alameda, Emeryville, Piedmont, you are also in the territory of Huichin, one of the natural territories of my ancestors. We are the Confederated Villages of Lejeune, and my ancestors have been here since the beginning of time. And It has really been in the last few years that the city of Berkeley has worked hand in hand with our tribe to really do this important work. But I see other important work that that Councilwoman is doing with our unhoused people and our folks that are really need to have a voice, and that she brings that to council. And so really what I want to do is to offer a prayer for the times that we're in right now. And so whatever your belief system is that I hope that you bring your ancestors in here with us in this virtual way today, and that we call in our ancestors from all four directions. And so if you all will take a deep breath and ask your ancestors to be with you, and as you let it go, let them be here, because we are in a tough time right now. But we also know that our ancestors, no matter where we're from, have undergone some really tough things as well. And as we are right here, right now, today, let's offer a prayer and ask our ancestors to come and continue to hold us up on their shoulders while we as human beings figure out a way to come back into the circle of life. I want to offer a prayer today. Grandmothers and grandfathers and creator ancestors, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our lives. We pray for the lives of those that are less fortunate than us, those that do not have a roof, those that are being denied their human rights of having a home, having food and water, shelter. We ask grandmothers and grandfathers for special prayers for those that are sick right now with this disease, but those that are also sick with other sicknesses, those that are imprisoned behind the walls, imprisoned behind the addiction, imprisoned behind the cages on the border. We pray for those ancestors that are being held down by fascism and tyranny. We ask grandfathers and grandmothers for us to create a better world for the next 7 generations and beyond, so that there can be fresh water and fresh and good soil and good air, and that we create a better place for us all to be, and not to put this on the shoulders of our children, but to create a better world now. We ask special blessings right now for Councilwoman Cheryl Davila as she's going on this new journey to re-election, that you give her strength and courage and wisdom, and that all of those people that she loves is protected. All those people that are helping her on this campaign are taken care of. We ask that we have good leadership in the places that we need them. And we ask grandmothers and grandfathers to take care of all of those that are suffering right now, anywhere in the world. We ask that we continue to have hope and dreams of a good future, and that we are able to do this in good ways. Oh, thank you so much, Cheryl.
Oh. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you so much, Karina. That was beautiful. And now we're going to have another prayer by Reverend Edwina Santiago from City of Refuge, which is in Oakland. Bishop Yvette Flunder married my husband and I 33 years ago. So it's really important to me to have her represented here today. She was at my kickoff on the phone saying a prayer last time. And so thank you, Edwina, Reverend Edwina Santiago. You have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now? First of all, I just want to thank you, Cheryl, for being a great inspiration in District 2. I'm no longer in the city of Berkeley anymore. I live in Richmond now, but my offices are still in, it's still on San Pablo, will always be. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what you're doing around housing for seniors. It's been very challenging. So I want to thank you, and any support I can give you, please don't hesitate to call. On behalf of Bishop Flounder, who I am now sitting under at City of Refuge, as I am now pre-law student. So I'm studying law now, so I'm sitting under Bishop Flounder. So I just want to thank you, and I'm going to offer up just a short prayer that God would strengthen you. Father God in heaven, we come before you right now. And we're coming, Lord God, at a time where, yes, we're virtual, but we're still coming together. And I would ask you, Lord, to touch Cheryl right now, Lord. Touch her whole campaign crew, Lord God. That she would, what she's done the past 4 years, she will do greater the next 4 years. And that she would have the strength, her family to continue, Lord God, to surround her.
Action at a distance.
Pardon?
It's about spooky action at a distance.
Spooky action, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I like.
Excuse me, can you mute yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, we've lost the Reverend. She's muted.
Go ahead, Reverend. We'll unmute you. Can you?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you. Sorry about all
Thank you. And that everyone would just encamp around you and support you and keep you. And on behalf of Bishop Flounder, City of Refuge, we thank you and we're here to help you in any way we can. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much. You used to be a District 2 resident. I'm sad to hear that you're back in Richmond now, but I'm happy that your business is still on San
My
Pablo.
business will continue.
Thank you. That's great.
We'll be here. We're right around the corner. Come by and
Yeah, I
have
know.
coffee.
Thank you. I would love to.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. All right. And we're going to do one more blessing by Brother Dawood Yasmin. So thank you for being here. And thank you. This is our second collaboration. And I really appreciate that you're here today. And take it away. Are you still here? Yes.
I had to unmute. My apologies.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa afdal salat wa time taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathiran. We begin in the name of Almighty God, the creator of all that there is, was, and will be, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear God, as we gather today, we're reminded of a saying that al-qulub mutasila, that in spite of our separation, that the hearts are connected. We gather before you today in utter humility and deep gratitude, and we pray that you would instill your blessings, wisdom, and guidance upon each and every one of us. And we seek a special request for our sister, City Council member Cheryl Davila. Oh God, at a time when our nation seems divided, we call upon you to bring our hearts together and to bless us with leaders who will continue to work for the betterment of all of your children. Dear Lord, at this moment, we are in dire need of continuous leadership. And our sister has demonstrated her courage and her unyielding commitment to seeking justice, peace, and human dignity. Please bless this city by bestowing the continued leadership of our sister as we move forward. Please bless her to aspire to be the best version of herself, to always choose what is most pleasing to you. Allow her work to anoint the wounds and scars of this city. Allow her work to remove the pain and division that afflicts our city, the city of Berkeley. Allow her to be a leader that calls us to see past ourselves and our differences, so that this city, through her work and the work of others, will offer hope in times of despair, comfort at times of hardship, and love in times of discord. We call upon your most beautiful names to manifest a victory for our sister, a victory that is celebrated by the city of Berkeley and all of its members. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, brother Yasmin. That was beautiful. It brought tears to my eyes, all these beautiful prayers. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much. And so now we're going to start with our speakers. First up, we have former council member Jovanka Beckles, who is a amazing woman, amazing leader for the city of Richmond. And she's also a children's mental health professional in Contra Costa County. And she's also a former candidate for assembly for the state of California. So welcome and thank you so much, Jovanka. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Cheryl. And just want to just send out incredible blessings to you, blessings to all, and blessings to those who came before me, blessings to those who offered those beautiful prayer earlier. Thank you. And just thank you so much for the honor of being able to be a part of your launch for Richmond, Berkeley City Council. Richmond is on my heart. But I know far too much how important it is that we that justice is not just it's not in a silo. We know that, right? We know that justice isn't found only in Richmond. Justice isn't found only in Berkeley. Justice isn't found only in the Bay Area. We need justice throughout this land and throughout the world. And so that's why I'm honored to be able to come and just share why I support you, why I wholeheartedly endorse you for Berkeley City Council and District 2. It's so important, all the more in these days, why we need principled, accountable leadership, as your sign says. And I know mine is backwards. I have no idea how that happened. But you know what? That's who you are, Cheryl, through and through. You're principled and accountable and share the kind of leadership that we need in this world today. As the only Black woman on the Berkeley City Council, we need you. We need Berkeley to come together and re-elect you. Because what I've seen and what I know is that when we elect corporate-free people who are not accountable, who are not beholden to corporations, who are not beholden to any kind of a corporate political system, that's where we win. That's where the people of Berkeley wins, when we elect corporate money-free candidates like yourself. And it's been obvious. It's been obvious in your tenure. It's been obvious that you are only accountable and indebted and beholden to the people of Berkeley. Because when you look at your record, it's obvious. You don't owe the fossil fuel industry any favors. You don't owe developers any favors because you didn't take their money. The only people that you've been working for, and it's obvious, is the people of Berkeley. It's obvious from legislation like your moratorium on enforcing sidewalks and homeless encampments, your policies and legislation around evictions and fighting to make sure that the unhoused are treated with dignity and respect, that Berkeley renters are treated with dignity and respect. You see it from other legislation that you created when you banned the sale of flavored tobacco. You created the Climate Emergency Mobilization Task Force. We see it in legislation that you've created and you brought forward by establishing the RV Tiny House Solutions to Homelessness Task Force. Your Voices Against Violence, which was a program designed to support young people who are at risk of involvement in gangs and or gun violence in Berkeley. And the list goes on. And so when you see elected officials, public servants like you, who bring forward these types of legislations. That's what we need so much more of. And Cheryl, I know also that you were also standing up and fighting against Urban Shield. Look at what we're seeing now. People are tired of police brutality. People are tired of Black and brown folks being hunted down like animals. And we don't need to give police departments any more ammunition to continue to oppress us and treat the people like animals instead of the public servants that they are supposed to be. So when we have these kinds of elections, where we have the opportunity to vote for and re-elect someone like you, we know that is the answer. That is the answer for what we are seeing the young people out in the streets protesting against. You are that answer. You are saying you are an elected official with the power to implement policies that stops that kind of behavior. That's what we need. And that's why I support you. That's why I endorse you. And that's why I will max out in donations to ensure that you, Cheryl Davila, are reelected. And we need so many more elected officials like you, especially, I say, Black women, because you know it firsthand. You know what it is to have a Black son, a Black child, a bright Black children who are having to deal with these kinds of injustice in the world. And we need fighters like you on the Berkeley City Council, Cheryl. So I'm incredibly honored to do everything that I can to ensure that you're reelected.
Thank you so much, Javanka. This unmuting and muting is a little bit challenging, but thank you so much. That was, I mean, I'm just going to be crying all day. So just know, because I've never had this many accolades like all like simultaneously. So it's a lot, but I'm so honored and humbled by all of it, really. So thank you. And next up, we have another amazing woman, Lisa Tiny Garcia. She's formerly unhoused, incarcerated poverty scholar, revolutionary journalist, lecturer, poet, visionary, teacher, single mama of Tabaricio. I'm sorry if I messed up your mom's name. Daughter of a houseless disabled mom. Oh, I mean, I don't know what I just did, but I apologize. Daughter of a houseless disabled mama D and co-founder of Forbes magazine. She's just amazing. I don't know if you've heard her on KPFA, but if not, you need to tune in. Wow. Thank you for being here. Tiny, take it away.
I am that poverty scholar, that houseless mama, that houseless daughter. I'm a poverty scholar. All those people you don't want to see, never want to be, look away from me. What you gonna do, arrest me? We're in your city. Yeah, I'm blessed to be here with these beautiful, this beautiful array of revolutionary Brady Bunch checkerboard. And yeah, this Zoom-ish ain't no joke. You know, us folks who struggle with the digital streets anyway, right? Digital divide is real. So first off, I just want to lift up Cheryl because you know what I say about folks in office. You know, I have my own way of remixing the colonizer's language. So I call a lot of people politricksters because unfortunately, politricks ain't nothing but a trick, and legislators, because a lot of the laws are lies, and they're rooted in the same settler colonial lies that stole Karina's land and all of the other indigenous territory. But I feel blessed to be here, and I would never have said yes had I not thought that Cheryl Davila is the absolute opposite of that. And she's one of what I would consider a conscious legislator. She does not play, and she really talks the walk and walks the talk. And I just, you know, I don't endorse folks in office or running for office, but I agreed to come on because I just love you as a person, Cheryl, and I think that you're the real deal. So one of the things that we know that we have in what I call hypocrisy Berkeley, because yeah, me and those words, is that we have a veneer of progressiveness, but that doesn't always actually lead what's going on in Berkeley. And sadly, we still live in a society, be it Berkeley or Oakland or occupied Wuchien as it is in this territory of Karina's people, but where private property is considered a commodity and more important than people. And so I thank you, Karina, for that beautiful prayer, and also to the other prayer bringers, because my heart is heavy with what I call the pandemic called police terror and the pandemic called poverty that was happening long before there was a COVID-19. And so the only kind of folks that we really need to be supporting in office are folks like you, Cheryl. And what I know is that we're at that moment, we're at that pivot where change is not a maybe, it's an absolute. And so you have to be walking liberation to help walk with all of us liberators. So I have a poem because I am a poet and a cultural worker. I say anti-social workers and case manglers call me crazy, lazy, dumb, and a bum because my knowledge don't come from the institution. We wrote a book, us poor folks, called Poverty Scholarship, because guess what? Poor people have a theory too. It's called Our Life. Get at me later if you want to know more. But I wrote a poem in honor of Hypocrisy Berkeley, where even though theoretically it's this place of consciousness and progressiveness, people are still sleeping on the street, and up until recently, still dealing with police brutality. So this moment absolutely affects all houseless, neurodivergent, disabled, elders. And if people do not understand, people on the street aren't any different than any of y'all. We just don't happen to have the privilege of privacy, but we have the violence of exposure. And I always give people a little medicine to get inside of the empathy place. Imagine someone came to your house and took the roof off of it. What would people call you? Dirty? Lazy? There's these ways in which our bodies are immediately criminalized just because we can be seen. Anyway, under a lot of the work that Cheryl has done and all people, powerful leaders like Where Do We Go Berkeley, like Barbara Brust and Consider the Homeless, Poor Magazine, and so many more, we're trying to change that process. And we're trying to liberate Mama Earth. And with leadership of Sister Karina and other First Nations folks, that's what we're doing right out here in Oakland. We call it Homefulness, a homeless people's solution to homelessness. So anyway, this is my closing poem I want to read for you, dedicated to all the houseless folk in Hypocrisy Berkeley, who thank the goddess Cheryl is running, and also to Jovanka and all of the other conscious legislators out there. We walk back and forth in a jailhouse every day. It's called Your Doorways, tent cities, bus benches, metal chairs in emergency rooms waiting to be seen. It's Main Street outside the razor wire plantation in a cell called houselessness and poverty, teetering on a colonial definition of safety. From ugly laws to police to conservatorship, we can barely survive one day without the theft of our belongings, cages, police calls, and 5150s. Me, daughter of a houseless mama, sleeping on street corners from Berkeley to Oakland drama, cars and not really public parks in this stolen indigenous territory. It's enough to drive anyone completely crazy. It took my mama, unable to unhinge from the deep well of trauma. So what's the answer? You don't want to see me? You would like to walk down the street cloaked in your Americlan lie that doesn't include me? Yeah, we are political prisoners outside the razor wire plantation. Us po folks are never free, not free from the mind demons, the abuse we can't get out our mind, no matter the quantity of psychopharmacology. I hold my mama in this space, rolling over her torture daily. My life is political. My prison is personal, she would always say. My struggle, our struggle, is poetry. And I can't escape these walls inside my mind. I can't ever be free, no matter what. I can't ever be free unless together we are working with liberation and Mama Earth to be free. Thank you, everybody. And so much love, Cheryl.
Thank you. That was amazing. Tiny, love you too. That was so great.
All right.
You know, I'm so nervous. I guess I just went completely out of order. So let me jump back into the schedule. And I apologize for Ben, Councilmember Ben Bartlett, District 3. He's one of my allies on the Berkeley City Council. And I just worry because he is a Black man in these times too. So, but I'm thankful for him being here today. So Ben, please take it away.
Oh, right on. Cheryl, good to see you. We've become really close, and I consider you to be a family member. I really honor and honor your commitment to life, and you're like a ray of light, and you're a blessing on the council. I want to say there's a couple of things on mind that's really brewing right now, right? Obviously, the current events are really extreme, right? Last night we had riots in 40 cities. That's crazy. The last time we had that was in 1968 when they killed Dr. King. So it's like we're circling around 1968 again, and that all the progress that that many of us believe we had made is clearly not happening yet. These issues that have been kind of hidden away, blanketed by media, blanketed by credit, blanketed by ignoring the issue of wealth inequality, of racism, of extreme behavior towards our neighbors, those are all becoming exposed, right? This is 2020, a year of vision, right? Clear vision. And I want to say that as they become exposed, Cheryl, you have been right there exposing it from day one, before anyone. You're leading the wave, and that's your duty as a person from what Southwest Berkeley. That's what we do. And I want to say that for all those people watching that you're talking about a person who is anointed by God. Now, God anoints those who defend the weak. That's how it is. That's how it works. That's how it always works. And you can track her story and discover this evidence of this anointment. She was penalized by another person in the city council when she was a regular civilian for her beliefs, which are about standing up for people. She was kicked out of her position and then decided to go for it and ended up replacing that same person. In the most improbable, 1,000,000-to-1 odds, Cheryl ascended to that seat in a real feat of justice and comeuppance that only people who are anointed can do. So now you've been on your duty. You've been charging ahead. You've been the voice of righteousness in the council. You've embraced the idea that worry is nothing but a call to what you don't want, because you don't worry. You have no fear. You make what you want to see happen. And so I look forward to encouraging your growth and consider you a good friend and family person as well as ally. And I got your back. And I want to say, okay. So I just want to say, Cheryl, congratulations on your re-election committee. I look forward to pushing you forward, and may your anointment be shared with all of us, because we need it now more than ever. All doors open.
Thank you so much, Ben. You made me cry. He called me the other day and said that to me on the phone, which made me cry then. And I was like, oh my God, Ben, thank you so much. That's just, no one's ever said that to me. I mean, actually, my sister had said that to me. But you know, like she always says, somebody else has to co-sign it before you believe it. So, you know, you co-signed it. So thank you. And hi, Scott. I see you there, Scott Blake. Thank you, everyone. I see my niece and her beautiful wife, Anne-Marie, Ayla and Anne-Marie Davila are on the phone. Ayla is a world-renowned musician. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Kenny Walton is on the phone. I was on the Zoom, wiping the tears away. Thank you so much. And so now we're gonna take a minute for Armando to do a little trivia moment. Armando is my amazing, wonderful, beautiful son. Thank you. Go ahead, Armando.
Yeah, before off at trivia, I just want to remind people to visit Cheryl's website. It's cheryldavila.vote. And there you can endorse, you can donate, and you can sign up to volunteer. Ruskell, I'm sure there you can bring up the trivia question. And just also a note to the speakers, I'll be sending you a message telling you you have 1 minute left to all future speakers. I'll be holding up a sign, which is a little bit hard to read because of my virtual background, but I'll get it up there. So, here's the trivia question.
African-American legislator elected to office in Northern California. Hint, he was a pharmacist with a clinic in South Berkeley.
Hey, Ruskell, you got these are the wrong questions. And for this
Yeah,
question.
I checked the settings. Somehow it's there, but not sure what's.
We're having a technical difficulty, so let's just scrap this question.
That's just okay. We can just ask this question.
Okay. Well, the answers are mismatched. So, who was the first African-American legislator elected to office in Northern California? He was a pharmacist with a clinic in South Berkeley, and there is a statue of him as well in South Berkeley. I don't know if anyone knows.
William Byron Rumford.
That is
right.
correct. Byron Rumford is the first
All right.
American legislator elected to office.
Thank you, Pastor Smith. That was great. So we'll send you a T-shirt when we get to
Good. Make sure you got the big man size.
I will. You're going to have to remute yourself, please. Okay. Armando, are you done?
Yeah. So just a reminder, just for the sake of time, I'll be sending a message to all the speakers in the chat box. We have 1 minute left, and I'll also be holding up a sign. And with that, I'm complete.
Okay. And so next up, we have a musical moment with someone who I love. It's been great to know her, to get to know her during these. She was on my campaign committee in 2016. She came up with this amazing song back then, but it's not appropriate now, but that was fun. She's an amazing person, the founder of Cop Watch, an activist, a Berkeley Unified School District teacher, an incredible teacher, I can imagine, as well as a colleague as a commissioner on the Mental Health Commission, which I am the counsel on that commission. So right now, I'd like to welcome Andrea Prichett.
Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you. And it's really an honor to be among all of you. There's so many incredible activists and organizers, and that's what gives me so much confidence and hope about your campaign, that it's not just about Cheryl, it's about all that she can bring to the council and all the momentum. And Lord knows we need some powerful shifts to happen. But I just want to say thank you, Cheryl, for all the times that when you appointed me to the Police Review Commission and you backed me up. And I knew that you were right there, willing to take on the fight. And Same with the Mental Health Commission and all the desire for a humane emergency response to people who are having mental health crisis. And we're gonna do that. That's what I'm determined in this term of yours. And so with that, I would just love to offer up this song, which I know, is like it's like a circle that encompasses so many of the people on this call today. And it's a song from the civil rights struggle it's called Ella's Song, honoring Ella Baker. And with her spirit and her courage and her stamina, let it be so that we can marshal up the force and the momentum and the will to make the kind of change that we need. And so, in memory of all those who have died at the hands of police. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men and black mother's son is as important as the killing of white men or white mother's son. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. To me, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. And if I can but shed some light as they carry us through the gale, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard, yeah. At times she can be quite difficult, 'cause she will bow to no man's word. Yeah, she who believes in freedom cannot rest. She who believes in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Stay strong, Cheryl. Woo! Take it all the way into the end zone.
All right,
Much
Andrea, I love you. Thank you so much. That was amazing. That was great. Thank you so much. So I think, let's see, my pages are getting all messed up here.
We got Eduardo Martinez next up.
Oh yes, we have Eduardo Martinez up next. Yes, thank you, Armando, for the assistance. Eduardo Martinez, Richmond City Council member. We met at Local Progress, right? And I was, someone, I think it was Genevieve Wilson, had told me about, like, in Austin, Texas, there was a, like a tiny home community, and it was Sunday. I had been there since Thursday, and I had not gone to see it, and my plane was going to leave in a few hours. So I checked out at noon, and I go down to the lobby, and Eduardo's sitting on the couch reading a book, and I had only seen him throughout the conference. And so I had asked all my colleagues that were there, but none of them wanted to go check it out. And I just randomly said, hey, I seen you in one of my workshops. So are you interested in going on a little road trip with me right now to look at these tiny homes? And so he said yes, and we jumped in a taxi, and there we went. And it was great. I mean, it was a long, far away. We didn't realize where we were going. And then we're like, how are we going to get back? And Eduardo's like, let's just ask the taxi driver to stay. So we did. And we only had 10 minutes to zoom around the place in Austin and get back to the taxi and drive back to the hotel to catch our planes, but we did it. And I was so thankful. And we've been in partnership and collaboration since. So here you go. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you, Cheryl. And that story illustrates a lot of things about Cheryl. It illustrates the fact that she does her homework. When she goes places, she checks things out, you know, and she's always constantly on the search for answers to the problems that we have here. And it shows an openness. The fact that she asked me to go with her, you know, showed that, you know, she wants to expand these things that she's learning about. But even more than that, it shows that she's a collaborator, that she wants to work with anyone and everyone who will advance the justice of you know, economic justice, environmental justice, social justice. And one thing that I always think about when I think of Cheryl is that I hear people say that you're known by the people you hang out with. And I'm really, really happy that I have someone like Cheryl to hang out with, because she illustrates the kind of person I want to be known as. She illustrates the kind of person who is you know, she does more than serves, she inspires. And she has inspired me to do what I do on the council. I always think that I'm a leader, but next to Cheryl, I'm a follower, because she's blazing so far ahead of me that she's showing me what is possible. And I thank her for including me in all these collaborative movements that she makes. You know, for instance, the environmental emergency collaboration that she's created, and the tiny homes, and seeing the connection between poverty and energy and the climate crises that we're in. You know, it's all one big mess of policies that needs to be straightened out. So Cheryl is amazing, and I will say wonderful things about her wherever I go, because people need to know that she is the most fantastic leader, not only for Berkeley, but for the Bay Area. And any way that I can support her, I will be there for her, because she, you know, bless you, Cheryl. You're really, you not only speak to my mind, but you also speak to my heart in everything that you do. I hope that everyone, not only in Berkeley, but everyone who encounters her can see the glory that she is, and will support her the way that she needs to be supported to advance the policies that will move not only Berkeley, but the Bay Area forward. So thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Eduardo. That was beautiful. I love you too. You're amazing. Thank you. Oh, I just muted myself. Okay, so back on the schedule, we have next Stacy Hill. Stacy, are you on the line? He's the founder of First They Came for the Homeless. He might not be on the line. So we'll skip that and we can go straight to my sister, my older sister, Lynette. She's like my best friend. We talk every day, multiple times a day. She's like, she proofreads all my stuff and gives me input, gives me ideas. She's just amazing. She's one of the smartest women I know, and she's going to be singing a song for us today. Go ahead, Lynette, take it away.
Well, I'm so honored to be here, and I'm so happy for my sister. And you know what? Even though she's short, she's got the biggest shadow, and so she stands very, very tall. And I'm just grateful that all of her accomplishments, her compassion for those that, well, that's how we were raised, with compassion for people. that if we didn't have a lot, but actually we didn't even know we were poor, but we were poor. But we always had compassion, and she shows compassion for the homeless. She has given her own parts of her own dinner to people and just donated food for events and fought so hard for the disadvantaged. And I love the fact that she had a passion for Palestine, because those brown people are getting tortured, and she stood for Palestine. And that's why she had a little bit of scrimmage with the Human Rights Commission in the first place. So I'm just very, very grateful. And I know that a vote for Cheryl is going the right way because she has integrity. She's transparent. She's a mom. She knows how to deal with the budget. Oh my God. She had a savings account when we were only making 89 cents an hour, or was it $1.89? I mean, we thought it was big money, but I'm really dating myself now, but I was shocked she had a savings account. Like, how did you save money? You know? But yeah, she's a good manager. So vote, re-elect Cheryl Davila. And that would be Cheryl Kirkwood Davila, but just to let you know, same mother, same father, all of us, but praise God. And I am singing this song. I love this song. It's by John Coltrane. And I think it's apropos right now for the times that we're living in. Pardon me while I take a sip of my coffee. Okay. All we need in this world is to have a time of peace, a time of life and love with all guidance from above, a time to understand being free. We need peace for our children so that they may live a better life. What a joy divine, what a perfect state of mind with our worries and cares left behind. Oh, what a peaceful time. Oh, what a peaceful time. God bless all y'all. Re-elect Cheryl Davila. And register your friends to vote so we can get that orange, what do you call them? I don't even know. That orange person out of office as well. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, my sister. And so next up, I guess we're going to have another trivia question by Armando.
Yeah, that ready, Russell?
Yeah, let me pull up the trivia question.
So thank you everyone who's already spoken. And just so you know, if you haven't visited Cheryl Davila's website, please do. You can endorse, volunteer for the campaign, and make a donation. If you do make a donation, we do need a donation form so that Cheryl's funds can be matched by the city. So every $50 that you donate, she'll get $300. So people are already answering the question, but which Berkeley District 2 official adopted the third climate emergency declaration in the nation? I mean, it's not a very hard question to answer. So in June 2018, Cheryl's office put forth the climate emergency declaration and a fossil-free fast resolution attempting to get the city of Berkeley to commit to be carbon neutral by 2030. That kind of got hammed up in some commissions and reports. But the Bay Area since has put forth 10 plus climate emergency declaration. So in the Bay Area, one of the only places in the country, there is a regional consensus that we face a climate emergency. And then she then founded a climate emergency task force to follow up on that initiative to make the regional collaboration possible. And that is the answer to the poll. Thanks so much for participating in that.
Thank you, Armando. Next up, we have my brother Chris. My brother Chris is 11 months younger than me. Lynette, can you please mute your self, please?
Oh, pardon me.
That's okay. So he's 11 months younger than me. So right now, we've been the same age until Tuesday, which is my birthday.
Hey.
So,
Happy birthday.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
happy
birthday. Take it away, my brother. He's a musician. He's an amazing cook. He's a brilliant man. And I believe he's going to share a song that he wrote because he writes some amazing music. Thank you, Brother Chris.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl, for inviting me. And it's like, I think it's just so great to just even see the people on this like chat here. It's like, you know, you are probably the most progressive group of people in America, you know, in reality, you know, this is like, you know, this is where the hope is. And thank you for supporting my sister. I'm gonna write a song. I'm gonna play a song that I wrote recently from living up here. I lived in Berkeley for a long time. I got my sister to move to Berkeley. You know, she came out to see me and she just loved it and loved all the people and everything was going on. And then she decided to stay there. And since then, you know, I've left Berkeley. You know, I had a little long stint back in New York for a while, but then and now I live up in Lake County, which I really love too. It's not exactly Berkeley, but you know, the air is really incredibly beautiful, and it's just like such a wonderful place. A lot less financial pressure than you would have in the Bay Area too, which is one of the reasons why I live here. But in any case, here's a song. Another beautiful day up here on this mountain. The warm glow of the sun is flowing like a fountain, lighting up the dark, chasing off the cold. Nothing being bought or sold. The scent of lavender rides the crisp early morning breeze. A flock of tiny finches are singing and dancing in the trees. The problems of the world are moving to the margin, then they fall right off the page. This is the dawn of a brand new age. best is yet to come. Don't forget to bring the drums. I know you love the bass, so I'll try to leave lots of space, room for long wide waves to rise, bounce, fall, swear, catch you in a spell. Not unlike the spell you're in. This one's fact. I'm not saying yours is thin. That's some other cat's game. I have to change my name in my shoes. Start playing some basketball. Get all caught up in some fucked up competition, fed by superstition. I'll just follow my intuition. Down the road towards intellect, I'll give you all my respect, 'cause I know the deal. This is for real. I know how you feel. Take one step out of line when you think you're doing fine. A giant jackboot appears to squash you like a bug, grind your ass through the rug, label you a thug, and throw your DNA in jail for 10,000 years. I'm not asking you to fail. Just try to remember how beautiful, frail the other is. How frail your brother is. The planetary mother is. Can we stop for a moment to just breathe? Breathe. 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 Another beautiful day up here on this mountain. The warm glow of the sun is flowing like a fountain, lighting up the dark, chasing off the cold. No one being bought or sold. Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Cheryl, for representing B-Town, which was a place that I thought I would never leave, but I got to admit that I'm happy here.
Thank you, brother. That was beautiful. So wonderful to see you and listen to your beautiful music. And Buna, your grandchildren, is that your grandson? So cute. Hi, Dan. Yep. Hi, Buna. Anyway, so next up, we have another amazing speaker.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
These are not my grandkids.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Daniel.
Oh, hey, Daniel. Hi, Daniel. They're so beautiful.
My babies are my babies.
All right. Thank you for clarifying. I apologize. But they're beautiful. I just wanted to acknowledge them. So this person is just an amazing, articulate man. I love him and his family. I learned of him when I was standing up for Palestine, and he's the co-founder and professor of the Islamic law and theology. Oh wow, my mouth is not working right now. Theology, thank you. This is my beautiful daughter Spencer at Zaytuna College, the first accredited Muslim liberal arts college in the United States. He's the co-director and founder of the Islamophobia Studies Journal and director of the Islamophobia Research and Documentation Project, and a senior lecturer at University of California at Berkeley in the Department of Near Eastern and Ethnic Studies. I'm so humbled and honored to have you here today, Hatem. Thank you very much. Take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon. And really, it's a pleasure for me to be here to not only endorse and participate in your re-election. What is it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a little bit of echo, but you're good.
Yeah, so really it's a pleasure for us not only to launch your re-election campaign, but to celebrate really principled, authentic, grassroots, genuine human being that is actually not only won, but overcame the impediment. We came together or began to really work together as a result of your principled stand during the debate in the Human Welfare Community Action Commission. And as they say, you were anointed by Councilmember Bartlett, but it's your principled stand. When you stand with the people carry you on your shoulder, and that's essentially what you have done. We are definitely living in a very difficult period. In one statement, it said that America is a failed military state with a large number of rich people that live in it, and we are basically their subject. And increasingly, this is very obvious for anyone that is observing the cases of COVID-19 and the destruction that has been visited upon African-American communities, which also began to usher in for the demand to open up the economy, as we saw who is actually dying and who's on ventilators. It is actually that shift that took place. What we need is really to reshape our politics from this narrow, neoliberal, domestic, global, economic, political, social, as well as they include on it also religious discourse, because there is imperial religion that basically thinks that God is coming on the top of a tank or flying an F-16 versus the religious liberation and theology that is actually walking in the streets and calling for opening the prison gates and really attending to the people and ministering to them. I tend to believe in a religion that is walking with the people, that is liberating people, a theology of liberation that has a long standing. Again, I know that my dear brother Gus Newport, who was with us from way back when we had the Sister City resolution or proposition in city of Berkeley, my brother Dannny Glover, who we walked together during the anti-apartheid, as the last time we actually were together right there at the opposition of the Iraq war, when the bomb began to fall. So again, Cobb Watch. Berkeley has been in the forefront of progressive politics, but unfortunately, often our political leaders opted to play the safe and narrow, which basically to replicate the safe political discourse rather than the transformative political discourse. So I think as we move forward in the days and months and years ahead, we have to commit ourselves to changing the political order in our society, and it takes one council member at a time, one district at a time, for us to make that change that is needed. As we are watching the demonstrations in 40 cities, we are living the rolling back of every gain that we had during the civil rights movement. 3 gains: the Voting Rights Act, the Immigration Rights Act, and the Civil Rights Act. These are the fundamental gains, and these have been rolled back tremendously, and what we end up is the type of responses. So we have an awesome responsibility, and I really think that, Cheryl, your leadership, your engagement, you're always out there with the people, and as such, I think you are living and walking progressive politics in the city of Berkeley, and we're going to make sure that you get elected as well as get others to get elected. I know, Jovanka, I supported you when you were running for the Richmond seat, and we're still going to try again. There's no sense of failing. You fail better and you fail forward by constantly trying to make the change that you want to see. So I'm really honored to call Cheryl as a friend to the family, and she always tries to sponsor and engage the Muslim community in a genuine way. So really thank you for those expressions of support, and look forward to celebrate your next victory come November.
Thank you so much, Hatem. I'm really honored and humble. Thank you so much. And now I'm honored and humbled again. I say that word a lot, but it's so true. Gus Newport, the former mayor of the city of Berkeley. In 1961, the police invaded Rochester's Black Muslim mosque, and the Black community was galvanized into action. Newport was already a leader, met Malcolm X when he came to Rochester to organize the police violence. By the time he was running for a second mayoral term, we were both, he was aligned with the anti-apartheid movement. I remember when Nelson Mandela came to Oakland, I was there, Gus Newport was there, all these people were there. Probably many of the people on the webinar today. But Gus has been just an amazing leader. He stands up for justice, for humanitarian aid, all these things for decades and decades. I'm so honored and humbled to have him here today. I had the pleasure of meeting him several times, and it's just always amazing to be in his presence. He worked on the Sanders campaign in 2016 and in 2020 race. And thank you, Gus Newport, former mayor of the city of Berkeley, for being here. Take it away. Gus, are you?
I'll unmute you. Here, I got you. Oops.
Yep.
You're good, Gus.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's a great pleasure for me to be here in support of Cheryl Davila, who is far and away one of the greatest city council persons that the city of Berkeley has ever had. I mean, she gave a little bit of history, but Berkeley was the first city to divest from South Africa when I was elected in 1979. And because of that, I was put on the committee against apartheid at the United Nations, as well as the committee on the question of Palestine, because Berkeley also put Measure E on the ballot. The Palestinian and Jewish students came together. The initiative said that if the citizens of Berkeley voted yes, that I, as the mayor, would write a letter to the President and the Secretary of State that no longer would the U.S. ever give money going towards the building and the settlements, et cetera, whatever else. Now that initiative was defeated. Noam Chomsky came out to campaign for it, as well as Howard Zinn, but we were the first to do it. And as a result, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Ann Arbor, Michigan did it, and it finally came through. It was because of this that once Barbara Lubin, who was on the school board, no longer ran, she went to Palestine, Israel during the Intifada. And when she came back, she got on the phone before she could get back to Berkeley screaming, "Why didn't you tell me what Israel was like?" I said, "Hell, you should know your people better than I do." But that was when we founded the Middle East Children's Alliance, Mecca, 31 years ago. I went over there right after that because she and some other people sent me, along with 3 other people, to look at what was going on. I have seen apartheid in South Africa, but I'd never seen anything like what I saw in the Gaza Strip. It was actually feces running down the middle of the road right past the UN hospital where young kids playing. They took me to a prison where you had to crawl on your knees because the roof was wire set and you couldn't stand up. While I was there, I met a poet who had been 17 years in prison. And as a result, when I went back to Ramallah 2 days later, I was asked to come to a home, and this guy came across the room and kissed me on both lips. And I looked, I said, "My God, it's he." He said, "Yes, brother, as a result of your visit, they let me out of prison after 17 years. I think there are other firsts from Berkeley. We were the first to put pass domestic benefits for LGBTQ. And that's because people came to me. Harvey Milk had tried to do it before he was assassinated, but Harvey Milk was a gay civil rights speaker. But his replacement came to me and said, "We think you're the only mayor making in America can do this." And what I did, I called Father Bill O'Donnell, a Catholic priest, and the head of the Central Labor Committee. And I said, "Our gay and lesbian friends have asked us to pass domestic benefits. Can we go for this?" He said, "It's all about love." And I said, "Yes, let's go for it." We sent people down to Sacramento to look at the actuarial tables where the right wing was saying it was going to be so much more costly. We got the truth of the analysis and we passed that as a first. Public policy has to have a history of analysis, whatever else. And that's why Cheryl Davila is so necessary to us. She looks at the needs of people, the homelessness. She deals with those kinds of things for which this country is so ill known for, whatever else. I remember I was in Cuba in 1979, sitting at the table with Fidel Castro, Michael Manley, and others, and on the agenda was they passed a resolution against Zionism. And Zionism happened to be translated as something that was racist. So when I came back to Berkeley, I was invited on a radio program, and they sort of gave me some of the questions. But the question started, young Jewish guys asked me,
Come in here so you can hear Gus.
Sorry about that. You can keep going, Gus.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
And so I'll quit speaking in a minute, but I think you ought to know some of the things that Berkeley's been in the forefront of. And it wasn't easy. I never aspired to politics. I got drafted into it. And 8 years was enough because the neoliberals sort of turned me off based on things they didn't want us to do on affordable housing, et cetera, whatever else. Our rent control went all the way to Supreme Court in Berkeley. And Cheryl Davila is constantly in support of that. You must understand, I'm proud to see her running again because it is no easy situation. Because the Berkeley City Council is still not that foremost progressive. We've been progressive time to time, but I'm telling you, the fact that I see some of the representatives now who've moved to the right, that they have to continuously uphold and protect the city manager because she's Black, who's not playing the best role, is in bed with the police chief of police, whatever else. And I explained to them, the city council has the right to hire and fire the city manager and the chief of police. So we need to bring Cheryl back. We need to gather other people to participate on the Berkeley City Council. Because whereas Berkeley was maybe one time one of the most left-right city, you know, free speech movement started at UC and other places and that, it's got a way to come back. But we need to anchor that movement. Cheryl Davila, somebody I love and somebody I am so absolutely pleased to participate. And I'm sorry to say my brother, Dannny Glover, was on earlier because he'd asked me, he wanted to be here to speak, but Dannny had to go up. Dannny, you must understand, is called all over the world and on so many Zooms, etc., whatever else. But he said he sends his love, his support, etc., whatever else. Cheryl Davila, we love you. Please, please, City of Berkeley, District 2, re-elect her. Thank you.
Brother Mayor Newport, I'm still on the call here.
Hey, baby. All right.
I just wanted to hear you say everything I wanted to say as well. You know, and I see so many friends, even though I'm calling you from San Francisco and a lifelong, I have my office in Berkeley, but a lifelong resident of San Francisco. I've certainly had the opportunity to understand and follow and be a part of the tradition of progressive politics within Berkeley. And certainly Cheryl Davila has been a part of that as well, the part of the history that say, yeah, we see it waning, you know, but the issues she's places on right in front of us, the issues of homelessness, the issues of around poverty, and all the other issues that she's been engaged in, the issues around police brutality and police accountability, all those issues that we see now that we face the crisis of this democracy and the crisis of capitalism as well. So we certainly, anything that I could do, I was asked to be on the phone call, and I'm so glad to see some of people that we hadn't seen each other for a long time, brother. Since we were talking about other things and moments that we needed to know that we had to take action. And right now, we know that even those of us who've been in the struggle a long time have to take action and build the examples for the next generation. And that's what Cheryl does as well. Build an example for the next generation. What we do now and how we take on this moment with all our energy and all our passion and all our sense of entitlement is what's so important right now. So that is certainly what, and Cheryl's going to be right there as one of the leaders, but we have to work to get other leaders in, not only from District 2, but other places as well. I am certainly committed to do whatever I can to ensure that she retains her council membership in this election. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dannny Glover, Gus Newport. That's just like, I mean, you don't even know. I was so honored when I called Gus the other few weeks ago to check in and tell him that we had rescheduled this event. And then he called you and you weren't home, and then you both called me back. And I had the pleasure to be on the phone with you and him and hear about your grandmother and how we have to have the ancestors hold us up at this time. And sometimes the ancestors just like wake us up in the morning. You were talking about you didn't want to get up and exercise, but you could hear your grandmother and you got up and you did what you needed to do. And that was so heartfelt for me. And to have you and both of you here today, it's just a blessing. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you all.
And for all who don't know Dannny Glover, he's an actor, a film director, a political activist. He led the role of Roger Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon film series, made so many films. I was going to list the films and I was like, dang, man, it's going on forever.
Don't forget Mandela.
And Mandela, The Color Purple. You were in everything.
The last black man in San Francisco.
I remember Javanka, hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to see you.
I remember going through Nigeria, going through Lagos airport, in 1989, traveling around Africa, in Nigeria and West Africa. And as I was walking through the airport, Nigerians saw me and said, "There goes Mandela." I'm still incarcerated. And I had a chance to spend a great deal of time with Madiba as well. And but it's the work that's happening. It's the work with it's the anti-apartheid movement in Berkeley specifically, but everywhere as well. You know, that made that happen. You know, that made that the lips, the word of Mandela's name coming off our lips with such reverence and such powerfulness, and the struggle within in South Africa as well. The struggle for change in the end of apartheid.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so blessed. And so now we're gonna have my son Armando introduce my dad, Porter Kirkwood.
Right, it's the round of Black men giving some words of praise. I want to introduce my grandfather, Porter Kirkwood, who's out in Long Island, New York. And he's a lifelong educator and activist, sociological professor, and the progenitor, is that the word, of this Kirkwood branch of people who are creatives and activists. And I just want to welcome my grandfather to say a couple words. I'll unmute you, Grandpa, so you should.
And I just want to note that my dad is 91 years old, still teaching, driving, doing all the stuff. So thank you, Dad, for being here.
Oh, so okay, so I can start. Dannny, you won't remember this, but I ran up to you in the San Francisco airport and thanked you for making the movie with Ruben Blades, and I, you may remember that you didn't have change to make a phone call, and I gave you a couple of quarters. But anyway, it's great to be here with you and hear you talking this way about my daughter. Look, I am proud of all my kids. They are all really exceptional. Christopher's an exceptional musician and really very, very smart. When he was in high school, one of the reasons he didn't stay there was because he was too smart to be in high school. But and Lynette, who's very talented, also very smart, and Porter and Steve, and that's everybody, right? And all my grandkids are just the very smart people. I'm proud of all of them, and my great grands are gonna do great things too. But Cheryl is the one that's in the position to be doing things that I can look to almost every day and say, wow, that's a great thing that she's done. People of Berkeley got somebody who was not a politician. She kind of stumbled into politics. Actually, was kind of forced into politics. And she fought hard to get there. And when she got there, she was wondering, what am I doing here? You know, but she's faced the challenge, and she has the qualities of what every politician should have, and most are lacking in these qualities. She's honest, reliable, trustworthy, incorruptible, and smart. Really, really smart. Right? Some of the people who tried to get over on her have found that she is really smart, and they run into a formidable adversary. And she's been on the right side of things for a long time. When Cheryl took her job out, first place, when she came to Berkeley, she did something that was really amazing. Courage is not what you can do or that you're you can overcome things or attack things, or deal with things that are hard to deal with. Courage comes from being able to deal with things that scare you. When the thing that scares you, and when you try to deal with that, if you deal with it straight up, that takes courage. And Cheryl came out to Berkeley to live by herself and start a whole different life from the East Coast. And she did that, and she was very successful with that. And in her first job, where she worked as a courier for a woman who did transcripts for doctors, she had to cross a picket line. When she went to one of the hospitals to look up the transcript, she had to go across the picket line, and she refused to do it. And she finally had to do it because her boss told her that if you don't cross the picket line, I'm going to have to fire you. And so she went to the people on the line and told them, I have to cross your line. And they said, we know you're on our side. And so, okay, we don't want you to lose your job. And so, but the fact that she held out for so long took courage and really a very principled position. I mean, that's why she got kicked off the commission, because she took a principled position. And when she was asked to back down, she didn't, you know, and that resulted in her being where she is now. And she hasn't backed down on things, and that's what I hear people saying over and over again, that they appreciate it. I mean, I don't know whether, Cheryl, did you ever belong to a union? Did you ever belong to a union? No.
No, unfortunately, no.
She never belonged to a union, but she understands what a union stands for, and she supported union people when it almost cost her job, you know, and that's the kind of incorruptibility that she has, that you can't. She doesn't back off of these things. She sometimes has to bow her head a little bit, but she doesn't back off, and she hangs on to her principles. And so the people of Berkeley are lucky to have her, and they all should be out voting for her. And I'm hoping they would. The reason I would like to live in Berkeley is so that I could vote for my daughter. I mean, that would really make me happy if I could vote for her. And so to convince people that they should do that is just a natural thing for me. It's just she's perfect, and she really works hard. She took this job, and it's a job that pays a part-time salary. Why would they have a job that requires full-time attention and pay a part-time salary? I mean, who do you want to get that job? You want somebody who is more like the people who are in power already, you know? And AOC had the right thing to say when she was running for office in New York. She said, you people need to vote for somebody that's like you, that has your values, you know? And that's where Cheryl is. She's in a position of being a person who comes from a level of society that the people she's asking to vote for her come from. And they should vote for her for that reason, because she understands what their life's about. And as a teacher, I'm trying to tell students that how can somebody who has $1 billion understand what it's like for somebody that if they lose 2 paychecks, they gotta lose their house and start struggling for something to eat. I mean, there's no way that they can understand that. And I'm not saying that it's not, well, maybe a couple of people could have some idea about it, but it's a situation that they haven't experienced and have very little understanding about. And Cheryl has been there, done that, got the T-shirt, you know, and she has really struggled throughout her life, and she understands what it's like for people to struggle. And she managed in her struggles to put 2 kids through college, you know, and to get herself through college. That's an amazing thing, and she's really worked hard, and she deserves to be representing the 2nd district.
Thank you,
So that's
Grandpa.
what I-
Thank you.
Oh, you just cut me off in time, right?
Yeah, just right in time. Yeah, you're perfect.
My grandson did that to me.
Okay, Grandma. You gotta mute yourself now, Deb. Thank you.
I got it. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Grandpa.
So now is my opportunity. I see that we're running late, and I have this long speech, but we also have several other guests. So I'm gonna make mine short. I think everybody's kind of heard a lot about me, but I just want to say that 3 years ago, in 2016, people didn't know me. I didn't even know myself in a way. You know, I've learned so much about myself and so much about this whole position that it's just been amazing. It's the first term that I'm completing almost, and that I've been in a political office. I'm an elected official, not a politician or a politrickster. I'm happy to make that distinction. Because, you know, I was happy with my prior life before I was elected, and I knew that this would be a life-changing experience, but I didn't realize how incredibly amazing it would be. And I am just so happy to be the representative of District 2. You know, with this COVID-19 that has brought to the forefront the systemic, institutional, structural, and environmental inequities that we are dealing with and that we've been dealing with all our lives. Now it's out there in front of everybody to see. They can see the disparities that everybody has been dealing with. But I'm an ethical person with integrity and honesty. And, you know, we need people like me. One that's not afraid to be the only no vote or abstain for a reason. You may recall my first vote on city council was an abstention to the militarized vehicle for the police department. You know, and I fought hard to get, you know, Urban Shield out of Berkeley's participation. And now Alameda County made that same decision. So we're not there, but we still have the militarization of the police throughout this country. We've seen all the disparities of capitalism, of racism, and all the isms that impact our environment and our health. And now is the time to keep it in the ground, to move forward from fossil fuels, to regenerate our economies to be sustainable without exploitation, without harm, that will provide new jobs, training, to regenerate our soils, literally and otherwise. My candidacy in 2016 was because I wanted to step up and answer the call for regular ethical people to be part of a change they wanted to see made. I'm still here fighting that struggle because we need some changes right now. You know, I grew up in upstate New York. You heard from my dad. He was a civil rights leader as well as my mom. And, you know, they gave us some experiences that most people didn't have. And it was just an incredible life then and still is now. And I'm so appreciative of how I've been able to do what I've done on the Berkeley City Council. I've passed or co-sponsored over 300 council items. that have been really pretty good for Berkeley. And they all passed, so that's great. I have a business economics degree from Mills. It took me 10 years to get because I took one class per semester, and I minored in dance and I minored in dance and majored in business economics. I received an academic award, Omicron Delta Epsilon, which is an international honor society in economics. So I bring that to the Budget Finance Committee when I'm on that. You know, I'm looking at everything with a critical proofreading eye. You know, I want budgets that are transparent and effective and efficient. That's something that I'm working towards for Berkeley. Beautification without displacement and gentrification, because here we are in 2020 in a pandemic where our unhoused community needs to be housed. People have lost their jobs, about to lose their apartments or their houses or their mortgages. We have to continue to fight for justice in all ways that we can. We have to unite as a city, as a community, as a nation, as the world. You know, now is the time to change business as usual and to move forward in different ways. We have to make sure that Berkeley leads the Bay Area through a just transition to a net generative economy that that simultaneously addresses global warming, racism, biodiversity, loss of income, inequality, food security, and disaster preparedness. Our city and region and world must unite to become a viable, emergent, wait, I just lost track. I'm so sorry. Our city, region, and world must unite to become a viable path forward while honoring the latest science and emergent demands of social, economic, and racial justice and ecological regeneration during and after COVID-19. As the founder of the Climate Emergency Mobilization Task Force, we're working to organize the region with elected officials, different municipalities, community-based organizations, government, non-government organizations, activists, to intervene and unite efforts to force the required, wait, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around, and so it's amazing and confusing me, I'm sorry. As the founder of the chair of the Climate Emergency Mobilization Task Force, we're working to organize municipalities, elected officials, community-based organizations, and non-government organizations throughout the Bay Area to unify our efforts to force the required to intervene in the catastrophic pathway of the global warming. The CMTF will be hosting a series of webinars starting in July, so look forward to that. We're about to launch our website that will have legislation that we can all, as a region, also take on. And there's numerous organizations and information that will be on that website. We have to have more affordable housing, decriminalize poverty. You know, housing is a human right. We have to recognize that and move forward. Disaster capitalism, which has been in our existence for our lives, I am determined to find a viable solution to homelessness. I am determined to stop to decriminalize poverty. Poverty is not a crime, but is not being able to afford rent a crime? For decades, there's been income inequality that has led us to the situation that we're in now. We must change that. So please go to my website, look at my issues that I support, go to www.cheryldavila.com. .net.
Vote.
Vote.
Cheryl
Oh my
Davila,
God.
vote.
I'm so nervous. I'm like, I apologize. It's cheryldavila.vote. This has just been so inspiring and inspirational and transforming for me today. You've given me more courage and excitement about the next few months to get elected. So thank you for all that. And this is my beautiful daughter, Spencetta. She's been here in the COVID pandemic with us, and I'm happy to have her here today. So we're running late. So we'll have some more webinars. So I just want to make sure that we finish our program. So right now, I want to go to the Voices Against Violence, the youth that have Raylan Albert. He's one of the youth in the program. There's 31 families in the program with 21 showing up every week before COVID. But now they're working with the parents